you mentioned when we first started speaking with yourselves, you initially ran some speed mentoring sessions. Can you tell us a bit about these and why you decided to run speed mentoring?
Yes, and I just want to say thanks for having me as well. So since the inception of our network, which is BAME Network or Building a Multicultural Environment, one of the key focuses that we've had, it's been on education and awareness, because we realise that it's very important to create allyship amongst our colleagues, to further continue to create a culture of inclusion at Auto Trader. So basically, as a network, we decided that we wanted to run a series of speed reverse mentoring, we called it. And we initially ran an event with our senior leadership team, and that was like in January 2020. And then a year later, we actually then ran the same session, but virtually with our board members. And the reason that we decided to do that is to be able to give people in those positions of power to make changes, to understand the lived experiences of ethnically diverse people, because we felt like in terms of the allyship journey, that was important to them to have that insight and understanding of, the experiences of those people.
Thank you. So logistically, how does
Okay,
that
so
work?
the first one that we did was in person, naturally, at that time, so in January 2020. And it was a 2-hour session, which we did after our workday. So the session initially started with an introduction and an update on the progress of the network and everything that we were doing and why we were running this event. And then the mentoring began. So how it worked was that there were 10 members of our BAME network and 10 senior leaders. So similar to speed dating, they each went to eat like a table each where there was a mentor, and they spent 10 minutes talking to that mentor, and then they switched round. So that's how it worked for the one with the senior leadership team. And then when we repeated it a year later, because we were in lockdown, we were like, okay, it's going to be a bit more challenging as to how we do this. So what we decided to do was to run it virtually. Obviously, it creates a bit of challenge then when you're running something virtually to create that sort of connect, especially when people might be sharing really vulnerable experiences that they've faced. So what we did is we created like a pre-preparation pack, which we sent to each board member before the event, and that had bios of the mentors on there. Also in that pack was some pre-reading that we got them to do to understand about allyship and just educate themselves a little bit further. And we asked them to also send back a video bio. So once they did that and sent back the video bio, our men included also shared a video bio of ourselves. So when it actually came to the day of the reverse mentoring event, we kind of had a brief, some brief information about each other. So it wasn't like you were just going in blind, really. And then we ran it in a similar way, but it was two 60-minute sessions where we did breakout rooms, and 10 minutes basically in each breakout room. And that was how
What
that one
impact
went.
have you seen from the sessions?
So first of all, in terms of the initial impact with the senior leaders, some of them immediately wanted to continue those conversations. So some of them actually booked sessions in straight afterwards to say, actually, I want to ask you a little bit more about this that came up. So that was one of the things that we noticed. The board members session was driven by the first session with the senior leadership team as well, because they shared their experience on the board and they were like, yeah, we really think this will be beneficial for us. So in terms of that, it was straight away we could see the impact and how well it was received. Off the back of that, we appointed a ethnically diverse person to the board, as a result of them making further commitments to really drive change in this area. And I think just in terms of having that buy-in from our senior leadership team, which we did have before, it turned up a notch with them seeing and hearing these stories of, things that they never dreamed or thought that people would have to deal with or think about in their day-to-day lives. So I think it's changed their thinking. And in terms of how I can tell that is recently, obviously, the Queen passed away. And one of our senior leadership team actually gave the BAME network a heads up before they put out any internal comms to say, look, we're aware this has happened, we're going to have to put something out, but we're also aware that for certain communities, there may be mixed feelings about it. And they suggested, host a chat space, a safe space for people to come and discuss how they're feeling. And for me, just knowing and experiencing that, you can tell the shift in their mindset, because that wouldn't have been something that would have happened before.
Absolutely, thank you. And yeah, I wonder how many organizations did have that conversation to try and get it right. So thank you for that. And around the corner we've got Black History Month, so we understand you're looking to run a mutual mentoring initiative. Can you tell us a bit more about that and how it will work?
Yeah, so we've got a few things happening during Black History Month, but mentoring is something that we really want to take further with those the success that we've had of the sessions with the leadership team, sorry. We want to sort of bring it and break it out into the business further. At the minute, we do have a mentoring, just your standard mentoring program, but there's not a lot of representation in there. So we've been having discussions, and we're like, well, we want to get more representation from, ethnically diverse people as mentors, but we also want to be able to do something where we can also help with our commitments in the network around, helping people from diverse backgrounds. So with that being said, we've decided to go with mutual mentoring. So we're launching during Black History Month a series of mutual mentoring sessions. So it's going to be every Wednesday for the full month of October. And it's kind of like a drop-in, or you can book beforehand to come along and, speak to someone from an ethnically diverse background. And also, it's the way we see it is it's learning from each other, which is why we have rebranded it as mutual mentoring. Again, this just ties in with the allyship work that we're trying to do right across the business. We don't see it as just being the leadership team that need to get involved with this. So that's the plan that we have for
I think,
that.
it's talked about a lot. So I guess the key thing on the back of this, how you make sure action is taken and how will you measure any impact?
Yeah, so what we're also doing alongside the mutual mentoring in October is we've set up a series of what we're calling commitments or challenges on our volunteering platform, which we're asking people to sign up to those commitments. So it could be something as simple as watch this video or read this about terminology and so on. And we're asking people to commit to doing that either begin their journey on allyship or to further that journey and just sort of realign to the allyship. And the hope is that once people sign up on there, they do the tasks that's set on there, they mark it as complete. And then what we're going to do as a little thank you is to give them a badge with our logo, our network's logo on there, just to show again that, we appreciate them committing to it, but also they feel like when they're wearing that badge that they're showing their support to us as well. So we think it's really powerful, and it's a way for us to measure, how many employees in the business are signing up and taking part in this.
Fantastic, thank you.